Hey guys, it's Greg with Phoenix Automotive. I just shot a video not too long ago with the taking apart the interior of a 5 Series, and I noticed that as I was shooting it, the lighting on the inside of the car was really bad. So I got some new camera lights here. eBay stuff. I think they were like 30 bucks shipped for the two of them, which is awesome. So I'm going to give them a test here. I've got a 2011 Chevy Equinox, and I'm going to do the front driver's side door dismantle. So I'm going to take it apart and show you guys how that all comes apart. And we'll see how the new lighting works out for us. So, first thing we need to do, you can see on the underside here there's a little panel. I'm going to pop that off. And underneath it is, duck down in here to see it, there's a couple of 8mm, not to be confused with the ones up here that are going to be English. They're like 7/32. But there's some 8mm bolts right there, so we're going to take those two out first and foremost. I'm just letting them fall into the door because I am just taking this thing apart, but you obviously are not going to want to do that. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is this panel back here needs to come off. I'm using a pick. I don't know if there's a special tool you're supposed to be using for this to help not get this thing all scratched up, but if there is, I don't know what it is. So anyways, you take that panel off, and behind it is not an 8mm, but rather a 9/32. So you take that out, and that is all that's holding the door on. So now we just, as is pretty normal with these, come around the outside with the clip pliers. And get all the external clips out. Slides off the top. Now around to the back. This thing pulls out and then around, and then up. Kind of hard to see, but you can see in there, there's a little ball that goes into that little slot right there, and it pulls out the back, around, and then up. Now, over on this side, there's also a connector, quick connect, that just pulls back, and then this actually comes out with all of that being, all the electronics in the door being, you know, not having to be taken apart. So, next we're going to take off the sound deadening. It just peels off. Try to be careful to keep this stuff on if you're going to be putting it back on, because this stuff you can just kind of re-stick back to the inside, and it works out pretty nicely. Still with the 9/32, you can take the speaker off. 3 bolts. And that comes off. On the back side here, this is just a quick connect that depresses like that. Kind of hard to get to because they put this like sound deadening stuff. Let me use the pick again. There it goes. And that gets the speaker off. So, alright, next thing we're going to need to do, this window's been smashed, so that's nice. It's going to make things a little bit difficult. Normally, there's a hole right here and a hole right here that you can reach into to get the two 10mm bolts that hold the glass on. I'm obviously not going to be able to do that, so I'm just going to kind of make this up as I go along. At any rate, the next thing you're going to do after you get the glass off is going to be to take the regulator out. So I'll show that real quick. There's bolts here, 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 and here for the track. And then the motor itself is held on here, here, and here. That should loosen everything up for me. Question becomes, how the hell am I going to get this glass? that off. Some adventures in problem solving. Alright, we're going to turn this into another quick tip, lesson, whatever. If you have a window that is broken like this and you can't get it out, or you can't get it lifted up because the electronics are already gone out of the car, you can usually cut the harness. You can tap into it if you don't want to cut it, but you can tap into the harness that goes into the window regulator, and you're usually left with two wires. Usually you'll end up with the blue being the positive, the brown being the negative in this case, but usually you'll have either a green, black, or brown as your ground, and then some other color like red or yellow or something like that as your positive. Windows basically operate if you put the voltage to them in one direction, the window motor spins one way, and if you put it the opposite direction, they go the other way. So what you'll do is just trim a little bit off of here, just strip this wire and add a 12 volt to it, and it'll either go down or up. And if you've got it the right direction, good. If not, switch it and it'll go back up. So I'm going to grab a 12 volt battery charger thing, and we'll see if it works. Alright, so I'm back. I got my wire strippers and I got my 12 volt power. I'm just using a battery pack, and so I'm going to strip the ends of these wires off. And since these jaws always have a hard time grabbing onto that stuff, I'll usually just fold them back like this so that it has more to bite onto. Alright, we got one, and then as soon as you put the thing on, okay, that's probably going to be good enough. That's that one. And that's that one. So anyways, that's that little trick. And then once you have those two, again, normally they'd be up at the top, and you take the regulator down, and that gets the glass down to this position, but we're doing this a little bit weird because the glass is all broken. Damn. So now that we've got that out of the way, there's another wire that just goes across this. I'm not going to keep it on here. It goes to the actuator, I'm sorry. So that just can get tucked down into the bottom. Now this is going to come out. Like that. And that gets your regulator out. Alright, next up, we're going to take the mirror out. This piece of trim is just going to peel off of the corner. There's a clip back here if you want to take that off. I will, just to get it out of my way. But that leaves us with some 10mm bolts right here. Quick connect right there. And then it's connected here. Now this one right here actually holds the outside of the door trim on, so you only need to grab 1, 2, 3 for the mirror to come out. And that gets the mirror out. Go ahead and put these back in here just for storage. Make it easier for the next person to get them installed. Now, last but not least, we're going to be going after the actuator in the corner. For that, we're going to need a T30 Torx. And we got 2 right here. And right here. Again, hang on to those. And then we're going to need to take these 2 out because the window track goes right in front of the actuator's ability to get out. So these don't need to be taken all the way out. just loosened up. And then from behind here, it's kind of hard to see, but you should be able to see. Well, I'm going to take this out too. This is the wiring for the actuator. Now this thing is just going to slide up. I'm trying to keep the window in the track so you can put it back nice and easily. But that lifts up and out, and that'll give you room for the actuator right behind it. Now, it's going to be kind of hard to see, but there is a lock back there. Let me see if I can move my light. Well, I got my light all nice now, but I can't see a damn thing. I'll have to show you once I get this thing out. Alright, well, sorry about this, guys. There's not really much of a shot of you seeing this. But back here, there's a clip that just needs to come forward. Like that. And then this slides out like that. That takes care of the door handle. And then we just got to get the one for the lock. Alright, so the actuator's out. I'm going to have to show you what I was doing there. The lock is in basically the same way that this thing is. So you kind of have to twist the actuator so that it comes out at the right angle. Oh, I guess this is different. Thought it was the same. Okay. So yeah, this is like an angle like that. This thing has the same sort of deal in the back. So you have to kind of twist the actuator so that you can fit that, because it'll sit like this normally. This is how the lock looks when it's behind the door. And you basically have to twist the actuator so that it can find its way out like that. And that's what you have to do behind the door. It's really, really hard to see, and there's no possible way I could show that on film. But anyways, now we just have the electric. Slides up like that and off, and that is how you get the actuator out. And that pretty much is how you dismantle the door on a 2011 Equinox. Let me know what you guys think of the new lighting. I know it didn't really help too much behind the door there, but for the rest of it, it seems like a little bit better lit. So let me know what you think, and if there's anything else you want to see. I've got Audi A4s coming in pretty soon, and I have, what else is next? We're doing, I think, a BMW 335i after that. So anything you want to see on those two, let me know. Thanks for watching.